This is Thor, the mighty Avenger, Fireblast, Marvel's Destroyer. Figure is part of the second wave of the 3 3/4 figures from the Thor movie line. Well, not entirely in scale, as you can obviously see. It's just the same size as, I think, about the same height as the Frost Giant. I don't have the Frost Giant with me now, but I do have a mold of the Thor figure. This is the Hammer Smash Thor, a redeco of the Sword Strike Thor, so it's exactly the same as Sword Strike Thor. He is obviously a little bit taller than the figure. So there. It's not everybody will have the Frost Giant. Well, before we begin, the packaging, a little bit of box art. At the back, Mighty Fire Glow, and that's essentially the gimmick of this figure. If you push the button, it actually has a try me hole right there in front, so you can actually try it out. You push it, and it's going. Wait, let me just turn off the lights so you guys can see better. There we go. And the light is supposed to, well, it's supposed to bleed out into up to the neck and sort of show a lighted up eyes from the head sculpt. But it's doing an okay job. It's not doing an entirely good job. I wish the light bulb should have been placed a little bit higher so that the face would be a little bit, it would be illuminated a little bit more than just, just a soft glow. It's the chest that really stands out. So yeah, that's just a gimmick. It's no big deal. Okay, let's turn stuff back on. If you're looking for a scaled, close to a scaled destroyer, then you probably want to pick up the 8-inch. Excuse me. There you go, the 8-inch destroyer figure with limited articulation, but a good sculpt nonetheless, and it's sort of almost in scale with the 3 3/4 figure. It should be a little bit taller. Perhaps a 12-inch figure might be in scale, but that's what Hasbro gave us. If you're looking for a scaled figure, that's what you get. However, if you were looking for a really nice representation of the destroyer armor, or the destroyer as a standalone figure, meaning you put this on the shelf, maybe your Thor shelf, but as a standalone piece, this is a very nice figure. It is sculpted very well. There's the battery pack. You have to unscrew it to get rid of it. I'm guessing the chest is translucent plastic, just like the head. The chest, although, has been painted. The detail on this thing is immaculate. Unbelievable detail. Also, you don't get two destroyer figures that are exactly the same in terms of color and paint detail, because I chose this is the best one I could find, with very smooth paint apps on the chest. Some would have darker ab muscles, some would have darker chests. I mean, there was really no exact way of painting this, I presume, in the factory, and that people would just told you just have to give it a wash and something like that. But no, I haven't seen two destroyer figures on the shelf that looked exactly the same in terms of paint apps. They will differ slightly, but all in all, each one has been painted very well. Hardly any quality paint issues because there's only one paint. But very nice, and I'm liking the gimmick. I mean, some people just want to wait for the next version, which just has the light up eyes, but I like this one, and I'm a sucker for these light up figures. The only quality issue that I can see with this figure is really the glued, quote unquote, the joints, because it's typical of Hasbro. Sometimes in the manufacturing, the paint is still wet. They assemble the figure and the paint hardens, and the joints become stiff, and it's very hard to move them. Almost all the joints I was able to liberate. This thing retains the same articulation as most of the Thor figures. Ball jointed neck that does not have a hinge. No waist articulation for obvious reasons. Just a hinge shoulder. Okay, fine. So maybe he has limited articulation on the chest. He's got a ball hinge elbow, swivel wrist, ball hinge hips, thigh swivel, double hinge knees, and ball hinge ankle. The only problem I had with liberating the joints was the left hand wrist. This thing, this particular joint for this fist, I didn't mind because it was positioned this way, and even if I wasn't able to articulate it, it would still be fine. But it would have been nice if I could just do this and yeah, and no, he doesn't do that. Sorry, but I could not move it. I tried everything for I bought it the day before. I could not move this thing, and I almost came to a point where I wanted to just rip it off, and I didn't care about the joint. Probably just get a new one. But I gave it a shot again today, and what I did was I tried pushing and pulling it, pulling and pushing some more. And when I pushed it and twisted at the same time, it sort of snapped. The paint that was gluing the joint to the upper arm sort of snapped, and it was free. It was liberated, albeit it's a little bit softer now because of all that pulling and tugging. The peg, the soft plastic peg is a little bit softer now, and I have to be very careful. So it would still stick from time to time, but if you have the same problem, what you do is just try and push it and just twist it very slowly. Tug and push more, and then twist like that. I don't know, it's something, could be trivial for many of you, but it works for me. I didn't do that hot water, cold water, refrigerator, freezer thingy. I don't believe really in that, but yeah, so there it is. Just a little bit of a tip. So, before you dismiss this figure, I know some Thor fans are really thinking it's a small figure. It's just like the Frost Giant. Why would you even bother buying the Frost Giant? They do work as standalone pieces. Without the other Thor figures, they're great. And, I could not resist a well-sculpted figure. And Hasbro really, really did a good job on this one, despite the apparent lack of scale. But as a standalone figure, fantastic. So give it a second look. I would recommend it. Maybe not highly recommend it, but I'm pretty sure you'd be very pleased with it if you gave it a second look. So there you go. Incidentally, I have behind me the rest of the wave, the Warriors 3, which will probably be up next for review, but they just look so great. I'm thinking of just keeping them there, but I would want to review them for you guys. So if you guys are wondering what I'm going to review next, just you can follow me if you wish on Twitter, www.twitter.com/fxfranz. I do post not as regular as I want to, but I do post some of my purchases there and my upcoming reviews. So there you go. This is Thor, the Mighty Avenger, Fire Blast, Marvel's Destroyer 3 3/4 figure. I hope this video has been somewhat informative, insightful for many of you who actually didn't even give this guy a second look on the pegs. So there you go. Thanks for watching.